Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To some of you and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. Let me get right to it. I forgot his first name, but T Osborne in Texas, who was recently shot by his white girlfriend and baby mama, did say he'd rather do a dog than do a sister. And dog would have to be white. And that's a very low down thing to say. And I'm going to tell you, brothers, why it is that you should still not apologize for what he said. When sisters get to saying, well, he said this, that, and the other, you can say, yeah, that was a low down thing to say. But why should we jump on him for it? He more than paid for what he said. For what he said, he paid with his life. And black men been dying for a hell of a lot less. The real truth is that if you can find what Stephen Clark said regarding sisters, and you can find what Smith Field said regarding black men, and then you can find what T Osborne said. You can find what T Osborne said regarding black women when they die. Then what this means is that you can really just find a whole lot of black men and black women deciding they ain't gonna give each other a shot no more. They done. That's really what that boils down to. The next black person that passes away will probably have some social media posts from years ago or recently disparaging the same race but the opposite gender. However, the news is already out there. I mean, they understand in many other places that it ain't brothers that are driving black women away. They're being driven away. People get it. They're not walking around just hating yet in these countries. They're not walking around just hating men for being men. Polygyny is actually the norm. And they're not walking around just hating men for a polygynous nature. And they're not just walking around hating men because men are overwhelmingly heterosexual and that women are important to men. They hate men for being less attractive than what the women want while still being interested. That's what bothers them. What they want to say is, how dare these regular, normal, run-of-the-mill men that are so boring still be interested in women? That's what gets them. Now, sometimes they'll settle for that if they can use that. But when they realize that men are saying, well, you can't use that anymore. You can't use our normal, natural interest in you to get stuff out of us for free. Marriage or not, you're not bending over the couch, then don't ask me for nothing. And yes, don't ask me to help you with your bags if I don't know you, because I don't owe you. Because I can't ask you for anything of value from you if I don't know you, because you don't owe me. This is now going to work both ways. These boundaries also work both ways. My obligation to leave you alone is also your obligation to feed me the luck alone. And I can tell you guys that there's still a double standard in this, and this is why you owe no apology for what T Osborne said. When they bring it up, you say, well, he more than paid because he paid with his life. And if he had been with his sister, it would have been the same thing. So one way or another, you have to realize, and this is what you tell these sisters if you have to have a discussion with them about it, is that it's a Western issue. The problem is the West. White chick shot him. Uh, Sisters would have probably tried to put him into the criminal justice system for something he didn't do. And they do try to get men thrown into jail on false charges so that these men are likely to be hurt by other inmates. And that's why they do it. So to make a long story short, um, you're going to have to start bringing up what they've done. You're going to have to start saying, well, T Osborne wrote on social media something that was low down and foul, but you know what? That was reactionary too. We can look and say, ugh, but do you really think he would have lain down with a dog? No. And the other thing too is, what if Sistas been sitting up and saying, see, they love to play this game with this double standard. He was really low down for what he said. Okay, fine. Kendra G sat up there and said to Corey Holcomb that she would date a dog, a cat, a whale, or another woman before she dated Corey Holcomb. Now, Sistas have been, I sat up here and said I entitled my upload this, Kendra G reverted to middle school crap for Corey Holcomb. This is what Sistas have always been walking around saying. The difference is that what Sistas like to do is take an individual man and single him out and tell this individual man that they would do another woman or another species before they would do him, because they want that man. They always want every man to feel like he's the least attractive, and they made it work on me. They did that job on me so well, I still wondered at times. At times I had to remind myself, no, they don't think I'm ugly. They just want me to think that. I've had to remind myself of this at times. What is the reason that they act this way towards me as an individual, or they did in middle school, and then turn around and act this way towards you as an individual, and then towards you, and then even to Corey Holcomb? And turn around and tell you that date another woman before, and they mean it too. That's the other thing. They mean it when they say these other women. So we have to wonder, well, you also do own pets, so what are you doing with them too? Some of these sisters that, they don't never need no man, and they strong and they independent, but they got a big male Rottweiler and he's not fixed. You got to start wondering now, because see, we used to look and say this ain't something black folk did in general, and we believed it. And therefore, most of us weren't. But now you got to start wondering, since sisters are always on this mission to prove that men are so worthless to them, especially black men. Now you got to wonder every time you see a successful sister with a large male dog and the dog ain't been fixed. What's going on? Well, they tell you. I'd rather, and some say, well, come on now, Jet Black, why would you make that kind of leap? Well, I'm questioning it. Here's why. Because you got sisters, and if they don't talk like this, then it's probably not on their mind, so leave them alone. But you got some that keep talking like this. I'll date another woman. I'll scissor another woman before I be with you and you don't have any bread. Meanwhile, the woman she's willing to be with and scissor is 5'2" and ain't got no money, ain't got no bread. She's a woman that acts like she's a dude. They sit up here judging you by the size of your junk and they ain't never even seen you naked. And meanwhile, they willing to be with a whole other chick who ain't got no outside junk at all. What the hell do you think this is about? If you a man, you got to be Superman, or you could be a woman pretending to be a man without none of the super. Either one's fine, but you can't be a normal run-of-the-mill man and be treated by them like you're worth anything. It's not just that they have to pick you for themselves. They don't have to pick you on an individual level. But if you're a regular, normal, run of the mill man, they hate you so much they're telling each other don't pick you. That's where the boundaries are. B word, who are you to tell another woman how she's supposed to feel about me? And I ain't even doing nothing wrong to her or anybody else. Oh, so I don't have prison tattoos and felonies and baby mamas and I'm not 6'2". So you're going to tell this other chick that she shouldn't want me either. Step off. Ain't your damn business. Yeah, that's what's going on. They're sitting up here telling you that they'll be with these other women and they mean it. So when they start saying that they'll be with another woman, they'll be with a cat, well, uh, cats will scratch you up for trying that stuff with them. You'll be with a you'll be with another woman, you'll be with a dog. Well, you might not ever find a whale. You know, you're scared to get your hair wet. But a dog, you can buy one. Just not have them fixed. And the thing is, women will sit up and say, well, a dog ain't gonna run down the street and talk about it. They don't have to. Since they don't have any sense of shame when they do mate, they could just be in the mood when one of your guests is over and start trying to try to take everything off of you. Start nuzzling you. Let me hit that. What's up? Because to them, an observer doesn't matter, doesn't make a difference. And when you try to say, when you're like, no, he may attack. And what you mean, no? Because that's a dog. That's not a man. Now I see why it is that a lot of white and black women alike were saying, we pick the bears over the men. They were saying that pretty much just to reinforce this notion to us that we're worthless, negative value. But this is where it gets, like I said, this is where it gets really tricky. While they were saying that, I think they really would be afraid of bears. I really do. They're just saying that because they want you and me to see ourselves as being of a negative value, and they'll do anything to reinforce that notion, as I stated. But yeah, now I'm starting to wonder about them choosing dogs over men. I think they have been, because what we have seen is that they will choose women over men, absolutely, and proudly. Oh yeah, I mean, I'll do a whole other chick before I do you. No shame in that. Brag about it. Then want to turn around and falsely accuse you of being somebody's booty bandit. So no, don't accept blame for what he said on social media. That was cold. It was really sickening. But even then, we already know that's reactionary, and it's him pretty much saying to these sisters, ugh. Come on, Keisha, ugh. That's really what he was. He pretty much saying to Keisha, I'll do anybody before I do you. Anybody else but you. What's the reason? Because that's reactionary. That's how they taught him to talk. Sisters always out here talking about who they ain't gonna do and what they ain't gonna do and why they ain't gonna do it. And what normal men can't get out of them because normal men are boring. They're always talking about that. And then they turn around and they want you, ironically, to protect him and cherish them and love him while they was scissoring a whole other woman, and then got the nerve to falsely accuse you. Brothers, you really do have one of the worst deals out there when it comes down to mating, with being with anybody. You really do have some of the worst deals. I mean, they must really hate you. You don't have to do anything wrong, They're just going to mistreat you anyway. That's a pretty serious form of a rejection and hatred to which you've been subjected, man. I wish you hadn't had to deal with that. And the thing is that most of you have to deal with this at some point in your lives, and you don't have to do anything. I mean, at first there had to be something strange about you. You had to be really non-stereotypical. And in my case, I look very non-stereotypical. And I look less stereotypical than what I actually am. But at least I understood what the hell it was. Okay, I got that ambiguous look. And it's embarrassing for them to be seen out in public with non-black men. And I'm not on a sports team, and I ain't got no tattoos, no felonies. I'm not nigger swaggering all over the place. I ain't got to prove that I'm tough. Not starting arguments with people, none of that. Okay, I get that. Now they're doing this to all and sundry. So don't take any responsibility. Next time they bring that up, just say, yeah, how many guys have you ever told from puberty until now? How many guys have you ever told that you would do another woman or a dog or a cat or a whale before you would do him? The difference is that you take a man and you try to tell him in front of a bunch of other people how worthless he is. And then you do it to another guy and you do it to another guy. Whereas what this guy did was he pretty much, instead of singling any one of you out, he said, here's the bulk of you, so that you wouldn't feel too bad about yourself. And you want us to sit up and still say that we're not going to advocate for justice for him? No. It's not how that works. He learned this by watching you. That's what you say to them. Just like that 1980s drug commercial. Ask, where did he get this? What do you mean? Where did he get that from? How did he get it? And how did he learn to talk like that? What do you mean? He learned it by listening to you. From puberty until now, how many men have you told that a woman is better than him, a dog is better than him, a cat, other species are better than him? You just want to single one man out at a time to tell in front of everybody else. But this is a common tactic from sisters to bros. Now he's turning around and blanketing it across sisters so that no one sister feels too bad about herself. Y'all are still worse. What he said was bad and low down, but y'all was still worse. The difference is, it's very unlikely that he meant that. When you all say this stuff, we know that you mean it when it comes to women. So now we have to question if you mean it when it comes to dogs because you have access to them. We're still not the same. Thank you for listening. I hope this helps. As always, black heart, black mind, black out, assalamu alaikum. Black heterosexual non-select male power because they don't like it, and black patriarchy until extinction of judgment day. Thank you for flying with us here on Jet Black Air, where the phrase jet black is also a verb. Keep jetting black with us till the wings and the wheels fall off. Gender, justice, forever.